A family's dream turns into a nightmare. The Perrons' arrival. 1971. The Perron family, excited for a fresh start, moved into a charming farmhouse in Harrisville, Rhode Island. Roger and Carolyn, along with their 5 daughters, were ready to create lasting memories in their new home. Little did they know, a darkness awaited them. A darkness that whispered. A darkness that watched. From the moment they stepped inside, something felt off. The air was heavy, thick with an unseen presence. The house, with its creaky floorboards and darkened corners, seemed to hold its breath, watching the family settle in. Carolyn, the mother, felt it most. A cold shiver would run down her spine even on the warmest of days. The children, young and full of life, started to notice things too. Shadows seemed to dance in the corners of their eyes. Their laughter echoed in the empty halls, met with an unsettling silence. The Perron family, initially undeterred by these odd occurrences, brushed them off as tricks of the light or their imaginations running wild. But as days turned into weeks, these strange happenings grew more frequent, more disturbing. The darkness was making itself known, and soon it would no longer lurk in the shadows. It was coming for them. Whispers in the darkness, the first unearthly encounter. It began subtly, a door creaking open in the dead of night, the faint scent of flowers, although none were present in the house. A name whispered, barely audible, but enough to send chills down your spine. These were the chilling preludes to the Perron family's descent into a nightmare. One evening, as Carolyn tucked her daughters into bed, she felt a cold spot in the room. The temperature plummeted and a gust of wind seemed to swirl around her, though all the windows were closed. Then she saw it, a shadowy figure barely discernible in the dim light, standing at the foot of her daughter's bed. The figure was gaunt, its eyes glowing with an unnatural light. Carolyn froze, her breath catching in her throat. Fear, raw and primal, coursed through her veins. She blinked, and the figure vanished. Shaking, Carolyn tried to convince herself it was just her imagination, a trick of the light. But deep down, a terrifying thought took root. They were not alone in the house. Something else was here. Something dark. Something evil. The sinister history unfolds. Bathsheba's curse. As the Perrons grappled with the increasingly terrifying events, Carolyn began researching the history of their new home. She unearthed a chilling truth. The land on which the house stood was once owned by Bathsheba Sherman, a woman who lived in the mid-1800s. Bathsheba was shrouded in sinister rumors. Villagers whispered of her being a Satanist who offered her own child as a sacrifice to the devil. Accused of witchcraft and shunned by the community, Bathsheba was found dead under mysterious circumstances. Her death, ruled a suicide, was said to be a curse upon the land, forever binding her vengeful spirit to the property. Carolyn's research revealed a long line of tragic and unsettling events associated with the house. Unexplained deaths, suicides, and disappearances plagued the families who dared to call it home. The darkness that haunted the Perrons was not a nameless entity, it had a name: Bathsheba. With this chilling revelation, the family's fear intensified. They were trapped in a nightmare, hunted by the vengeful spirit of a woman scorned. The house, once a symbol of hope and new beginnings, became a prison of terror. Bathsheba's presence was inescapable, a constant threat lurking in every shadow, whispering in every corner. A reign of terror. The haunting escalates. The discovery of Bathsheba's dark history unleashed a wave of paranormal activity that shook the Perron family to its core. The hauntings escalated from subtle whispers and cold spots to full-blown assaults on their senses. Objects moved on their own, furniture overturned violently, disembodied voices taunted them, echoing through the halls. The children's toys came alive, their laughter replaced by an eerie, mechanical hum. One particularly harrowing night, the entity decided to reveal itself in its full, terrifying glory. Carolyn, awakened by an icy chill, stepped out of her room to investigate. She was met with a sight that would forever be seared into her memory. Standing at the end of the hallway was Bathsheba. No longer a fleeting shadow, she was now a horrifying apparition. Her skin was ashen gray, her eyes burning with malevolent fury. Carolyn could only watch in terror as Bathsheba glided toward her, her skeletal fingers outstretched, a guttural growl escaping her lips. The Perron family was living a nightmare. Their once peaceful home had become a battleground, their lives held hostage by a force they couldn't comprehend. Desperate and terrified, they knew they couldn't fight this alone. They needed help, and they knew just who to call. Word of the horrific events at the Harrisville farmhouse reached the ears of Ed and Lorraine Warren, renowned paranormal investigators. Drawn by the chilling reports and sensing the genuine terror in the Perrons' pleas for help, the Warrens answered their call. Ed, a demonologist, and Lorraine, a clairvoyant and medium, possessed the knowledge and experience to confront the unknown. Upon arriving at the property, a palpable sense of dread washed over them. The air crackled with negative energy, a testament to the dark forces at play. As they stepped inside, Lorraine was bombarded by psychic impressions. She saw flashes of the house's horrifying past, Bathsheba's reign of terror, the tormented souls trapped within its walls. Ed, armed with his crucifix and unwavering faith, began documenting the paranormal phenomena. He set up cameras, recording devices, and electromagnetic sensors, determined to capture evidence of the unseen world. The Warrens interviewed the Perron family, meticulously documenting every detail of their haunting. The children's accounts were particularly chilling, filled with innocent terror and descriptions of unseen entities that tormented them. Ed and Lorraine knew they were dealing with something powerful, something evil. The house was not merely haunted, it was a conduit for darkness, a beacon for lost souls seeking revenge. Convinced that Bathsheba was the malevolent force tormenting the Perrons, Ed and Lorraine decided to confront the entity head-on. They prepared for a seance, a dangerous gamble that could either appease the spirit or unleash its full wrath. As night fell, casting long, eerie shadows across the property, the Warrens gathered the Perron family in the living room, the epicenter of the paranormal activity. The air grew thick with anticipation and fear as Lorraine, her voice a low hum, began to call out to the darkness. Suddenly the room plunged into an unnatural chill. The temperature plummeted, and objects began to shake violently. Bathsheba's rage was palpable, her presence filling the room like a suffocating fog. Through Lorraine, Bathsheba's voice, filled with centuries of hatred and despair, echoed through the house. She railed against the Perrons, claiming the house as hers, vowing to destroy anyone who dared to intrude. The entity's power surged, its grip on the house tightening, lights flickered, objects flew across the room, and the children screamed in terror as unseen hands tugged at their clothes. Ed, his voice a commanding force against the chaos, challenged Bathsheba, invoking the power of his faith. The seance, a harrowing battle between good and evil, left the house in shambles. Bathsheba's fury was unleashed, her power undeniable. But the Warrens, through their courage and unwavering faith, managed to contain the entity, preventing it from fully claiming the Perron family. Exhausted but triumphant, the Warrens knew their work wasn't finished. They spent days blessing the house, praying for peace and protection for the tormented souls trapped within its walls. The Perron family, forever marked by their ordeal, decided to move out of the farmhouse. The trauma they endured was too great, the fear too deeply ingrained. The house stood silent, its windows dark, a chilling reminder of the darkness that once resided within. But was it truly gone? The Harrisville farmhouse, now infamous as the Conjuring House, became a magnet for paranormal enthusiasts and skeptics alike. Stories of unexplained noises, cold spots, and shadowy figures continued to circulate, suggesting that Bathsheba's presence lingered, her grip on the property still strong. The house, forever linked to the dark history of Bathsheba Sherman, remained a chilling testament to the enduring power of evil. It stood as a warning, a reminder that some places are best left undisturbed, their secrets buried beneath layers of time and fear. Years have passed since the Perron family's terrifying ordeal, but the legend of the Conjuring House lives on. The stories, whispered like ghost stories around a campfire, continue to send shivers down spines. The question remains, does the darkness still linger within those walls? Is Bathsheba's vengeful spirit still trapped, forever searching for release? Some believe that the Warrens, despite their valiant efforts, only managed to contain the entity, not banish it entirely. They whisper of residual energy, of a darkness that permeates the very foundation of the house, waiting for the right moment to resurface. Others, more skeptical, dismiss the stories as folklore, the product of overactive imaginations and the human tendency to seek out the thrill of the unknown. But even the most ardent skeptics can't deny the chilling history of the house. The documented events, the first-hand accounts from the Perron family, and the Warrens' own experiences paint a picture of a place where the veil between our world and the next is dangerously thin. The Conjuring House stands as a chilling reminder that some mysteries are best left unsolved. It is a place where fear and fascination collide, where the past refuses to stay buried. And as long as the stories continue to be told, the legend of Bathsheba Sherman and the darkness that whispers will endure, a chilling testament to the unseen forces that may lurk just beyond our perception. So the next time you find yourself drawn to the allure of the unknown, remember the Conjuring House. And ask yourself, how far would you go to uncover the truth? And are you prepared to face the consequences?